Ready to start. Today, as I said, we have a great lady next to us who has agreed to be the first one on our live session of Ask Me Anything. This is a monthly session. We will bring you every month a new leader, an inspiring person who has an interesting career or a great life story. I think that nowadays we need a little bit of inspiration. And that also comes for me personally, as I shared on Facebook, Renata has always been an inspiration. She has helped me in my career. She has also been the one that has co-founded the Polaris Foundation, which I'm also a proud member of. And she is now Chief People Officer at HomeCredit International, but has had a career with many leadership functions, from CFO to CEO, and now Chief People Officer. And she's also one of the most powerful women in Czech Republic. So really a pleasure to have you here with us, Renata.
Hi, Anna, and good evening to everyone. And it's an honor, to actually launch this beautiful Ask Me Anything session and to be the first one. I'm very happy to be with you.
Same for us, Renata. And even though I think 2 years ago we were in the same country, living in the Netherlands. Now you're back in Czech Republic. I'm still here in the Netherlands. And we have to talk about the situation. I think the coronavirus situation is definitely not that good in both of our countries. How are you coping with that, with this really strange pandemic? What are your strategies to deal with this?
Yeah, I think, what you said is that actually both countries, Czech Republic and the Netherlands, are having quite some high increases on daily basis. So we have entered the second wave. And I actually believe that it will be different for many people than what we have experiences in March, April, and May. Firstly, it's not anymore new. So I think that, people deal with new things, of course, with different adrenaline and of course, different fears as well. So it pushes you to cope with it maybe with different approach. And it was also different, I believe, that it is different season. It was spring, when all the flowers and trees and longer light days, which brings much more optimistic, view on life. Now, of course, we are in autumn. The days are shorter, and it's not new anymore. And I think people are quite tired and maybe with a lower energy than 6 months ago. So I think we need to be, all of us, extremely mindful about the mental health because, it's longer than we expected. It's, with ups and downs. And I think, I will not say any magic. I think we know what is the best for all of us to handle these situations. I think it's family, inspirational people around us who will bring a lot of, inspiration. It's sport, it's healthy food, and definitely a very good sleep. I think these are the basic elements for everyone to handle any crisis in front of us.
Yeah, definitely. And as you're saying, right, it's good to have some inspiration and to also look at the positive aspects of life, and more than just going in this negative feelings that you might get from this pandemic. And this is also what we're trying to do with this session, right? We said that we would like to talk about empowering people for change, because I think this big pandemic is actually testing everybody's flexibility to change. We all had to adapt. But talking about change and how you go through that, I think you have a very what some might an atypical career, right? You started in the finance world very early, already achieved great success, and you became a CFO, I think, at 27 years old, which is wow, amazing. Then you were a CEO of NN in Czech Republic, and then you did a change which a lot of people might find surprising. You chose to become a chief people officer, which is a role that you still continue on. What were the reasons that made you do these choices?
So maybe just to comment on your first comment that I achieved the chief financial officer when I was 27. I'm sorry, I don't know what's happening. I hope I am not getting the special name which we used to say, but I think it's just something which is in my sore throat. So being CFO 27, I think it's a very special. I would not even say it achievement, but I think it was the consequence of living in special days in Czech Republic and actually in Eastern Europe. When after the revolution, when the socialistic system collapsed, there started to be great opportunities for everyone, and especially for young people. And I was at the time graduated from economics, and I joined a Swedish company, AstraZeneca Pharmaceuticals, and they gave beautiful opportunities to young people, and very quickly, I could grow to this role from technical point of view, but not from the leadership point of view. But I can say that, some years afterwards, when looking back, I'm a person who always, loves new opportunities. Normally, I do not hesitate. I'm excited about new things. So whenever a beautiful opportunity came to me, even without maybe thinking, am I ready for that, or what are the consequences? My enthusiastic approach pushed me and pushes me to do that. So that's also a little bit answer to all these changes. I never planned my career. I actually wanted to be artist when I was a child. I never dreamt about studying finance or economics. That was a kind of navigation of my parents, who guided me in that way. From CFO to CEO, maybe we will tackle it a little bit later. Normally, with some of the people, it's a kind of traditional move that if you are a strong CFO, you have good financial knowledge to become a solid CEO. In my case, like female leader, the journey was not so easy, but finally I got the role. And then the passion for people that actually very naturally followed me through all the roles which I did. In the beginning of my career, I did it more spontaneously by intuition, connecting with people and looking, how to collaborate and how to work with them. Later, I studied a lot about psychology, team dynamics, motivation of the people. And when I was the CEO, I actually was very much dedicated to, looking to the culture of the company, how to make all people engage, how to connect them in the way, what is the direction of the company, where do we go? And it brought beautiful results. So, we had great financial results. We were quite innovative. We were winning quite some awards, on the products, on the customer experience. And we also had quite high engagement score, so people were happy in the company. So more and more I saw that, if you focus on the people leadership, on the cultural topics, if you really create an environment where people can flourish and shine and they can be truly themselves, that the company is, boosting with the performance. And very spontaneously, you know, it brought me to the people area. So I have totally changed the career, you know, 6 years ago, when from the business management, I moved to the support function, as many people say it. And it was quite a surprise for many people. Some people were extremely excited about it, and they understood, you know, the vision, the purpose of doing that, and they were excited that a business person, you know, would move to people area. But I also got quite nasty comments, like, you know, people really do not understand why I did it. I even got some comments, oh my God, so you really failed like the CEO, did they put you into HR? And it was very interesting experience to see how people treat you like the CEO, and then how they treat you when you are in the HR. And also talking about female leadership, it's a different proposition if you are the female CEO, and then if you are the female in HR, because of course HR is a lot connected with caring and empathetic, you know, female leaders.
And what was your biggest challenge throughout this whole journey to become a better person and a better leader?
Oh my God, Oana. I had so many challenges and of course so many failures. Maybe I will mention one, which actually is connected really to my personal development and personal transformation. I am known as a person who is quite, you know, quick, you know, so quick thinker. I want to see the results. So the speed of everything which is around me is tremendous. On one side, this is great for people working with me because I can make them, you know, with my energy, extremely into it. You know, they like to work for me. They like to follow me. They understand my vision. But of course, the speed is quite overwhelming sometimes. And through the years, I learned that actually I lost some people on the way because I did not, you know, I was too much focusing on my approach, on my speed. And I got the feedback from people. I love to work a lot with metaphors. And some of the people told me, listen, you are driving the fastest, you know, most modern car, but you never look to the mirror and you are losing, you know, the other cars. And if you will be more mindful about, you know, the dynamics of the team, of the cars driving with you, you will achieve much more and in different way than, you know, pushing everything and driving by yourself. So I needed to learn, you know, to slow down. I needed to learn to become much more patient, which means much more connected with yourself and you know, to let many things go, which makes you a better leader because then you are really connected with people. You also listen much better, and you help other people actually to drive their cars and to become faster and better in driving than you are. So that was a journey. And I call it like, you know, from strong contributor, I really transformed to be a kind and very effective leader.
Yeah, I can totally recognize that understanding what it means to be the go-getter and do it all, but also see it in you, all the things that you have achieved. And yeah, as I mentioned, I was also inspired by your vision, and I hope whenever we work together, I manage to keep up. But I want to remind people that if they would like to ask a question, it's no problem to just jump in, and please raise your hand if you are in Zoom, and we can give you the microphone so you can directly ask the questions to Renata, or you can type it in the chat, and then my colleague Julia will pick it up and read it out. But in the meantime, Renata, I wanted to ask you also about mentoring. Mentoring is also a program that we offer through Polaris, and I think we all have mentors throughout our careers, but maybe also our lives. Tell us a little bit about that for yourself. Did you have mentors? Do you still have a mentor?
Yeah. So as you said, I think everyone has a kind of even informal mentor, and maybe we even do not know and we don't call it like mentor, you know. So looking to my childhood, definitely my grandparents and my grandfather. He was, you know, mentoring me through a small child, and actually who I am. I owe a lot, you know, to him and to grandmother. But looking to the professional mentoring from the career point of view, actually it brings us to the moment of me, CFO, ING, NN Group, applying for the CEO job. And I can tell you, and you know the story, but the others might not. Without the strong support of a few people who are very dear to my heart, I would not get the job. And actually, one of the strong mentors in that time was my boss, the former CEO of the company. She was also the female leader, Australian Alexis George. I mention her a lot. And she had a vision. She had a vision that she wanted that the next CEO will be firstly local, because it was always expatriate, you know, managing the company. And after her being, you know, the female leader, and seeing, you know, the impact which she had on the culture and everything, she said it would be a beautiful combination if it would be a local female leader. That's how the journey started. And then I got to the game, and she did everything within that very dedicated and focused year to support me, you know, on that journey. So firstly, she actually formally nominated me. She spoke to the head office and to her boss, and she said, listen, there is this great local candidate, the CFO, and she would be wonderful for the job. And then, because the process did not go so smooth, and I had moments that I wanted to give up on the journey, she was standing there and she was actually kicking me to continue, giving me great advices, mentoring me both personally but also professionally. And he was also the engine of myself deciding to really become mentor and to help many other young women on their journey, because I saw that huge impact, what she did for me. And I gave myself commitment. I got a lot from other people, other women around me at the time. And I said, I want to be giving back.
Yeah.
And I continue to have mentors and coaches in my life. I think it's extremely healthy to surround yourself with many different people who will come with different opinions, different ideas, who will challenge you, who will be a mirror to you, that we don't stand still. So I truly believe that I will continue with this approach probably forever.
Yeah, we have to keep on learning, right? We received a question from Roderick Lambert. Thank you for the question. And he's saying, hi Renata, found it fascinating that you managed to look in the rear view mirror, talking about your metaphor. How did you make that shift from leading the pack without looking behind you to taking into account those who are typologically different to you and require a bit more time and space? So talking a little bit more about that transformation that you mentioned.
Hi, Roderick, and it's actually fantastic that you are with us. So thank you also for joining this session. And listen, this is a fantastic question, and I'm not ready with it. I think, all of us, as leaders, as people, we are constantly evolving, changing, developing. And I think what helped me the most is my self-motivation, that I constantly want to become a better person. I want to have the best impact, on people, around me, and not only at work, of course, also, in family and leisure time. So that's my strong motivation, which is really continuously pushing me to try to look to myself, to my behaviors, to my habits, to my patterns, to my biases, and to evolve with it. What really helped me was that, and it was not easy. I think it's not easy for anyone. I was constantly, and I am still, asking people around me for very honest feedback and to tell me exactly in the moment if I do anything which I am not aware of, which is causing them frustrations, tensions, when I am losing them. I need to know exactly what do I do that I am pushing the stress buttons of people. And I strongly believe if you are not a psychopath, we all do that, but we are not aware of it because we are different. And what works with us do not work with other people. And what works for them do not work for us. So I always say we are half blind and half deaf. And we need to create the safe and trustful environment that people will feel confident to share that feedback. So it's easy to say, but of course it's very difficult to manage that. And I'm sure, and I hear it from my people, that sometimes I lose it, that still the speed and my energy and my strong passion and belief in what I do, that it's overwhelming. But I constantly encourage, people around me to come back to me and to give me the feedback. And not only on the moments when I do something which, do not make them feeling good, but also the moments which they actually enjoy, which makes them to fly, which makes them to really, shine in what they do. So this is actually the best what I can recommend and encourage everyone to do that. And people always ask me, so, how do you engage with people to give you that feedback? And it's training like with everything. If you want to become better in sport, in running, yeah, you need to practice. And every time, every day, maybe you run a little bit longer distance or you run faster. The same is with this. So more often you do that, you become comfortable and natural in that. And one advice which I do, and it works extremely well because it's a kind of easy, in every conversation, when we go a little bit deeper in the feedback, I ask questions which are not negative, which are a kind of open and a kind of more positive. So one question is, like I ask my people, so, what can I do to make you even more successful? Or is there anything, what you would recommend me to do differently? And then, of course, if you ask it for the first time, people are, oh my goodness, it's my boss, what am I supposed to tell you? So they say a little bit, but if you are asking, frequently, more and more they will start sharing. So this is one of the tips which I can recommend.
Yes, and being open to feedback is also, like you said, a treat you need to exercise. You need to keep on building up. The first time you hear a feedback, then probably it's going to be a little bit more difficult to fully understand it, but in time you get a hang of it. We got another question from Facebook Live, this time from Judith. And she's asking, is there anything you would like to have done differently? I think you can answer here maybe about your career or personal life or the mix of both, because I think one without the other don't go.
Hello, Judith, but I think this question, we could be here for the full evening. I don't have, of course, my list, but I have so many things when I look back that I would do differently. Maybe I will start with the family. You know, what I would love, but I could not do it differently. I always wanted to have a large family. I always wanted to have 3, 5 children, and I succeeded only with 2, or I can say with 3, because my husband has from the first marriage son. So this is something which, you know, kids are giving me the biggest pleasure. And actually my daughters, they are and they will be the best teachers for me, because they also mirror you, so you see a little bit yourself in some of the behaviors, good and not always the good. So actually, I would love to have more kids. I can't change that, but this is something which somehow I always think it would be fantastic to have a full table of people. And now when the daughters are getting older, so this is a little bit fulfilling, because of course we have sometimes boyfriend of Anna sitting around the table with us, and we have the girlfriend. So this is something which, you know, I love people around me, and it creates beautiful atmosphere, and the family dynamics is something which I truly enjoy. From the career point of view, I actually, if I think about people working with, so I made some of the bad judgments on people. And in some cases, it even led to the situations that I said goodbye to those people. And now when looking back, being older and having more experience, and again, understanding, you know, that actually I was a lot behind, you know, the unsuccess or the failure of the person as their leader, I would definitely behave and deal with these situations in different way. This is something which I'm quite passionate about, and I'm sure that all of you, you know what Pygmalion effect means. But this is something that, you know, how you approach and how you work, how you treat with your people, with your teams, you are actually half of the success or half of the failure. And now, of course, knowing more about it, you know, I can work with it. Looking to the past, I made many mistakes on like people judgments.
And maybe to build on what you just said, how do you approach this now that you have this realization, let's say? Did you get the chance to maybe discuss it with those people that you mentioned, or not?
With some, yes, actually. So it was very important for me to, after even years, you know, to come back to that and to have the discussion. So I think it's quite healthy to do that you reflect not only with yourself, but that you take the courage and you talk to person where you feel like, you know, I could maybe do it differently, but not with everyone. And actually, I think this is good to do this reflection. But if you ask me, do you regret that? Maybe it's quite arrogant to say it, but I say no, I do not regret it. I always treated people in a fair way. So I did not do anything against my values or integrity. So even when I asked people to leave, it was always done with very professional approach. And all these experiences, all these learnings, you know, they shape me in the way how I am and what I know. If I would not go through these experiences, you know, and I would not make these mistakes, I would not be able to learn from them. So I think it's always extremely important in these busy times where we all operate to take time to reflect and to really spend time with yourself and to go deep, to analyze thoughts, you know, behaviors. And I call that via metaphor, and it's even the theory, you know, not only dancing on the dancing floor, but next to that, you know, stepping frequently on the balcony and looking, you know, to the dancing floor, and not looking only to people dancing, like your team, or how the dancing floor looks like, if it needs new paint or whatever, but bravely looking to yourself, you know, how is it with you? How is the dance for you? Do you actually still enjoy it? Do you enjoy that it's a fast music, or would you prefer, you know, the slow music? Do you dance in the way that you are in the harmony with others on the dancing floor? And how do you feel during that dance? So that's something which I learned, and actually it brings me a lot of learnings to spend time with yourself and to think about it.
Yeah, I love the metaphor of the dancing floor. It really puts things into perspective. Another question, this time from Ingrid, who you know very well, but she would like to a little bit more about your story, about Alexis and her being one of your mentors. You mentioned you learned from your mentors. With different generations in the work environment, what do you learn, or have you learned from the younger generations that are in the beginning of their career?
Ingrid, thank you for this question. And by the way, I did not mention Ingrid, but Ingrid was the second mentor who helped me in that process. But I think it's a very good question to mention a kind of reverse mentoring, which some of the companies they work professionally, and actually we have launched that in NN, and I'm also launching it now in HomeCredit. And I can tell you to have to be in our age mentee and to be mentored, you know, by guys you know, who are younger and coming from Generation Z or you know, millennials. I think it's really sometimes very uncomfortable, but I think it's very enriching. And if I will tell you my experience from HomeCredit, so we are mostly active in Asia, and majority of our markets, more than 85, even 90% of our working population, it's millennials and Generation Z. So me, like Generation X, we are really like, you know, old dinosaurs. And to really work in my area, in people area, and talking about engaging working environment, you just need to connect with these people, and to be mentored by them. It is really eye-opening because they share with you the different way of working. They share with you what's important for them. They share with you what makes them engaged, but they also share with you how they look at you, like, you know, to the leaders, and how they read some of your behaviors, what they don't like, what they miss. And I had the first reverse mentor, I think 3-4 years ago. It was Agile coach from IT, and we had a beautiful conversation and more conversations, how he was actually assessing and viewing the leadership and the behaviors. And one of his comments was like, you guys are so constantly busy that it's even scary to see you, how you walk in the corridor, because you walk quickly, you are not looking around, you don't even see people, you know, walking next to you because you are constantly checking your mobile. You make yourself so busy that you make yourselves extremely lonely and isolated, and you actually do not know what's happening in the company. And it's brutal, eh? Even if I say it like that, I get a little bit, you know, these, feelings in my stomach. It still has a huge impact on my emotions. So when he told me, I was sitting there and I was so ashamed. I was so ashamed, like, you know, being one of the leaders and, you know, creating such, you know, view of young people. And we always say, of course, the young talents, that's the future for each organization. And they have their dreams and they want to have their inspirations. And I think in many companies, unfortunately, leaders do not inspire because they are too much focused on themselves.
Yeah, it's indeed a powerful story, because I think we all recognize it indeed in a lot of leaders, and that not only isolates them, but also, like you said, that doesn't make them inspiring anymore for the younger generation. So indeed, it's powerful. Again, talking about the dancing floor and looking from outside. We have another question, also from Facebook Live. Daria is saying, Renata, it is so great and inspiring that there are leaders like you. And I agree. Communicating with people and hearing them. And you gave a good tip on how to ask for a feedback. But I would like to ask you if there are any tricks to make your leader listen to you and hear you if you want to give feedback.
Oh, this is a beautiful question. And I would even say that this is prepared, but it's not. But I love to talk about listening skills, because if there is one underestimated leadership skill, it's definitely listening skill. People do not know how to listen, and actually it's human and it's natural to all of us that we listen not to get the new things from people who talk, but we listen with our ambition to answer and to start sharing, you know, our opinions. And there are beautiful, you know, books and detailed explanations about listening skills, and that there are 3 levels of listening. And I encourage everyone to spend time to study that. Because to improve on the listening skills, it actually brings the magic, which helps you not to continue to be half deaf and half blind. So listening, it's, again, I was talking a lot about patience. So if you want to hear the things which are unsaid, you need to really be patient, and you need to connect with the person who you are talking to. So the most magic from any conversation is that you are not only listening to the words, but that you are, you know, following the person, you watch the body language, you sense the atmosphere, you sense the energy, and you help, you know, to say the things which normally the person would not say. And I always give the tip for very simple exercise, which people can practice, you know, in pairs at work, but you can also practice it at home, because the under listening skills, it not relate only at your work, but even more importantly at your home, towards your kids, towards your partner. And the exercise is very simple. You take your mobile, you put 5 minutes on, and you give your partner 5 minutes that she can talk about any topic they want. And you do nothing, you sit and you give 1000% attention to that person. You don't ask questions, you don't comment, you just sit still and you listen. I can tell you, this will be the longest 5 minutes of your life, because after 1 minute, you really feel very unrested. It really takes a lot of attention and energy to do that, but it's very enriching. It's enriching for you, what you will hear and how you will hear it. But even if you ask your partner, how was it? Many people get emotional because they tell you, for example, in partnership, these were after many years, 5 minutes that I finally felt that, I had your full attention. So listening skills, tremendous importance, very easy to learn. But again, practicing.
A great tip. I'll definitely use it next time at home. Renata, so this is a great tip indeed for leaders to improve their listening skills. But what about let's say an employee who would like to give feedback to a leader that is not so great at listening skills? What should they do? How can they trigger that in their manager or the leader to hear them out?
This is very difficult. This is to give the feedback as employee to your manager when she cannot hear it well, or even does not create the environment that you feel safe to do that. I think that's one of the biggest obstacles in actual leadership and engagement of people. I so often hear people saying, my manager does not listen to me. My manager is not actually caring about me. My manager is not interested in me. My manager treats me like machine. She only gives me tasks and deadlines, and he does not care, how I am, how I feel. So if you have that situation and you really feel unhappy and you want to share it with your manager, it always differs, from a person, because you might have people who are extremely outspoken, self-confident, and they will just go and they will share that feedback. But more, I think, there are situations that, people need their income, people want to get their bonus, people feel they need their job, and they are holding back a lot. In these cases, I think that people function, HR, can play extreme importance to coach the person, but more importantly, to coach the leader, to coach the manager. And then, of course, the external coach or mentor can be a great support in these concrete situations.
Yeah, indeed. Just want to remind everybody, if you would like to ask a question, just type it in the chat on Zoom or Facebook Live, or raise your hand on Zoom, and we can give you the mic to talk directly to Renata. But in the meantime, Renata, I also wanted to talk about your activism for empowering women. You are not just the co-founder of Polaris Foundation, but you have also started other networks, and you have received awards for your work in this domain. I think you're now a global. You're globally active on this with a role at HomeCredit International. You span many continents, and I'm sure you you keep on empowering women. What made you start being so active? Was there a specific moment, a trigger? Was it that moment when Alexis helped you reach the CEO role, or was it also a build-up in time?
That's a very nice question. I think that always as a child, I wanted to have the impact. So I was always dreaming about big things, big impact. Not specifically, but I always, I was always like dreaming about, changing the world and making things better, but very naturally and actually very practically. So I always wanted to have impact via practical, arrangements. I think Alexis and really stepping up to CEO role, I think that was a great trigger. And then actually experiencing, every mentoring, every, coaching, every situation, if you spend time, with people and you see the impact. So I saw it happening, and I was really amazed. I was thinking, oh my goodness, this is really true, that each individual can contribute, and you don't need big, platforms. You can really have tremendous impact as individual, and that step by step actually connected me with other, leaders, both female but male, who actually had the same vision, who also wanted to have positive impact and improve. And then, of course, if you meet with people, then the activization is much easier. So it was a kind of, I think it was always my a kind of proposition. And again, it started from my grandfather, who was the same. He was very active in his community. He wanted to improve the life in the city where he lived. He was very active in his professional life. So I was seeing it as a child, and I was very inspired by that. And then it evolves. So I think it's a very beautiful journey. If next to the beautiful family, very good job, you can do things where you contribute, to the society. And again, it does not need to be big things. It can be small things like in the village where you live. And I think if all people will do that, we will be living in much better world.
Yeah, I like the example of your grandfather. I think these kind of role models in our young childhood are extremely important to just show us that it's possible.
Yeah.
And then it empowers us to achieve our best. One more question from Facebook Live from Dove. Thank you for all the insights, Renata. What do you do as a leader? What do you as a leader need the most from your employees in the current climate? Talking about the difficult climate that we are operating in, which is not easy for employees, but also definitely not for leaders either.
I think for my employees, I actually, I think it's a very beautiful question, actually, because things can be quite one-sided also. So I think it's extremely important for both leaders and their teams and people that you actually create environment, which is really full of care and empathy. So in these difficult days, when I, see all my people like we see each other, through the PC, that we are able to create connection, that I take time to ask them, how is it for you? How is it in the family? How do you deal with it to be, again, working from home, having, 2 kids, in elementary school? How is it with your parents who are maybe sick and they do not feel well? But I need the same. I'm also a human being, and that's what I meant with one-sided, that sometimes it's not balanced, that sometimes people expect that leaders are kind of heroes and everything is pinkish around us and that we survive everything. But I'm also a human being. I also have my ups and downs. I'm also scared about the situation. I'm also scared that everything is uncertain, and actually we don't know what will be happening next month. We even do not know what will be happening this week, because you know, this VUCA world is so crazy, you know, impacting us. So yeah, I need the care, empathy, and strong interest in me as a person, in the same way from my boss, but also from my teams.
Yeah, we're all people in the end, and despite this technology in between us, we still need this warm interest in each other and empathy in the end. That's what it's all about. Renata, you talked about your daughters, and I love that you touched on that. And I'm sure that you're really thinking about their future, and you're already empowering them to become great women. But how do you see the future? Are you optimistic? Are you pessimistic? Where do you see us going?
What do you think? Eh? If I will tell you, oh, I'm so pessimistic, you will say, oh my God, this is not Renata.
It's not Renata, indeed.
No. So listen, you know, I am optimistic, and I will always be optimistic. And I also truly believe, and in some situations, it might be difficult, but I believe that actually everything what is happening in our lives is happening for a cause. Maybe we don't understand it at that moment once it is happening, but I think later on, once, you know, we will look back, I think we will, you know, find some great learnings in that. I think history proves that there is always evolution, that there are always, you know, great moments, but also, you know, worse moments. And I would just wish them that they will be living, you know, their lives, which will feel like fulfilling. And I think actually what this time teaches us in the great way is living today, living in the presence. And I think that that's the biggest evolution which I see on many people, because very often you spend a lot of time on, you know, looking to the past. So maybe this reflection part, you know, you also should not, you know, overdo it. I think, you know, it's good to evaluate, but, you know, to move, because, yeah, what happened, you will not change. And many people also, you know, spend a lot of time, you know, on the future, maybe planning or analyzing all the scenarios, what can happen. And I think, you know, these demanding times show us that the most important is to enjoy what we have today. And I would wish them such world, you know, living each day like almost, I don't want to be pathetic, but almost like it would be your last day, that you don't have regrets, that you don't, you know, waste your time. So that is my wish, and I'm sure they will manage. They are great ladies with great self-confidence, and I'm sure they will find their way, whatever will be in the future, which we cannot foresee.
Yeah, definitely. I think really you said it very nicely, and indeed I know you're the ultimate optimist and the person who can achieve it all. So I think you definitely also see that this situation can be overcome, and we're gonna come out of it stronger than we are. We only have a few more minutes left. If there is any question, I would highly encourage you to write it down now. But otherwise, talking about the future and looking to the future, Renata, is there anything that you would still like to learn? You have done so many in your life and in your career. Are there any things that you still want to learn?
Gee, that's a long list, Anna. And that is always my challenge, that my day is always too short for me. I sometimes I feel I have time for nothing, I have so many books which I want to read. I have so many movies. I have so many places where I want to travel. And I constantly want to learn, new things. So I will not name anything concrete, maybe one. Actually, I started to refresh my Russian, because we have also business in Russia. And I totally, forgot it, or because you use different languages, it sparks somewhere very, deep in your brain. So that's one concrete, but I am explorer, and actually I gain energy with, feeling like, I am developing myself and I'm learning new situations, new things. So I hope that this approach will last for me, that there will not be a moment that somehow from any kind of reason I will feel tired about it, or, I will just pause. That's my self-motivation. That's what keeps me running and what keeps me energetic and excited, because there is so much outside, what you can learn.
Yes, indeed. Having this constant eagerness to learn, but also giving back from your learnings, I think that's the great balance that keeps your energy levels high. And we definitely see you doing that. So Renata, thank you very, very much for your time. For me, it has been a pleasure, and time just flew, because it's always nice to hear from you and from your learnings and your experience and your advice to us. I also really want to thank everybody who has been online with us, and special thanks to the people who have sent questions. Would you like to add anything to the end?
No, so firstly, I want to wish Polaris, which is, very deep in my heart, successful journey with these Ask Me Anything sessions. I think it's a beautiful way, on monthly basis, how to get connected and actually how to inspire each other and how to learn new things. So all the best with this beautiful initiative. I will definitely be there every month, and I look forward, to the next one. And big thank you to all of you to spend with us, Monday evening. And I wish you to stay safe and healthy, of course, in these days.
Indeed. Thank you very much, Renata. Also the same for you. Stay healthy, stay energized. And for everybody else, like Renata said, we are going to do this on a monthly basis, keeping each other inspired and also connected. We are all more in our homes, and in the evenings having such a nice, inspiring talk, I think will brighten up a little bit our darker winter days that are coming up. So keep tuned and keep connected to Polaris Facebook page, and you will hear more about our next guest for November. Renata, again, thank you very, very much. Good luck with everything you do. Thank you for the first Ask Me Anything session, and I hope to hear from you soon.
Thank you. Have a nice evening. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye. Bye.